Sean Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, coming at you from my front yard garden. And as you guys can see, it's December time, end of December, and my garden is still ranging. Now, yes, I did have to pull out things like the peppers and some of the other crops I have, but one of the things that I like to grow as a perennial vegetable is right in the front. Actually, I planted it in the second bed probably about a year ago now or so, and then in the front bed maybe just like about 6 months ago. So what I'm going to do in today's episode is actually harvest the Ashitaba seed. The plant has fully matured and has gone to seed in about 1 year. And I want to show you also the understory growth of the young ones, and also what I'm growing underneath the Ashitaba that is going to seed, so I could actually produce more food in the same amount of space. So actually, let's head up to the raised bed and show you guys what's going on. All right, so what we're looking at now is my Ashitaba greens, or the plants that are growing. These were planted probably beginning of summer, and in this bed I planted them when they were young, but I also interplanted like some crane melons that produced quite well. But the crane melons kind of like, you know, all the leaf matter overtook the Ashitaba, so until I cut out the crane melons, this Ashitaba did not really start to take off. Now that the crane melons are gone and have been eaten, these guys are coming back full force. So, you know, these guys I plant about every 1 foot. That's really tight planting. I would probably recommend more like 18 inches to give them some space to spread out a little bit, but I wanted to try to fit as many as I could in there. And these guys tend to overlap a lot and really shade out the ground when planted this closely. Now, these are all the greens, and I want to stop there for a second. I mean, many of you guys may have never heard of Ashitaba. You're thinking, Ashitaba? Ashitaba. So, Ashitaba is known as Angelica kiisuke. It's from the Honshu Islands in Japan. So it's a rare version of Angelica, and actually I have another cool variety. It's like a New Zealand variety of Angelica. Tastes like crap though, man, seriously, but they look cool. It's also edible, but this one is my favorite. Literally, I could just pick leaves like this, take them, and eat them like a salad. Now, to me, and your guys' taste buds might be different. I mean, I'm really used to eating a lot of greens. Like I just had straight dinosaur kale juice with cucumber juice this morning, and it was mostly like dinosaur kale juice. This kind of tastes like lettuce to me, but with like celery leaf overtones. So it's like lettuce with celery leaf overtones. For me, this is a really mild green, although I did have a friend about several months ago in the garden. She tasted this and she's like, that tastes bitter. I don't get that at all, and of course your taste buds may vary. But the greens, I like to just eat them young and tender. Of course, I also like to harvest out the young little shoots as they're coming up. That is actually my favorite part of the Ashitaba to eat. In addition, you can also juice these nice long celery-like stems here through the juicer to basically get all the nutrients out of the Ashitaba. So there has been a lot of study on Ashitaba, and it's like really antioxidant rich. They have a lot of studies showing that it can be helpful against many different common diseases of today. And I want to encourage you guys always, you know, not to look at any one particularly healing plant, whether it's Ashitaba or cannabis or Janera procums or Okinawan spinach, which they say is good for lowering your cholesterol, as like the cure, right? Or, you know, to heal you from certain diseases in the body. Like I have a more holistic approach. Like, well, I like to figure out, instead of figuring out what's gonna heal you, why not figure out why you got the problem with the first place and stop doing what you're doing that caused the problem in the first place. And that's where I think eating, you know, the foods out of your garden, primarily fruits and vegetables, are the best things on the planet to eat. And in my opinion, other things that you may be eating, especially processed foods, junk foods, too much of animal products may clog you up and cause health challenges. So that's why I advocate the greens, and to me, the Ashitaba is definitely one of my top 5 healing greens in the whole wide world based on the research, based on how it tastes, and of course in the stems, you also have these things called chalcones. Let me go ahead and rip a stem off here for you guys to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I just ripped the stem off, and we're gonna go ahead and wait a few minutes, because in a few minutes, we're gonna see this really, you know, predominantly. And what we're looking at, you guys could maybe see that close up on the video camera. If you guys look real close at that, it's actually bleeding like a yellow sap. We bleed red, the Ashitaba bleeds this yellow sap. This yellow sap is known as chalcones, and this is you know, one of the main reasons why I believe the Ashitaba is so healing is these chalcones that are not present in any other plant. And I think that it's also very important to grow your Ashitaba in the most nutrient-rich soil so that the genes of the Ashitaba plant can fully express themselves. I mean, it was grown in an island in Japan, volcanic island, with really rich minerals, and it is said that Ashitaba grown in other places did not have the properties that it does in where it was originally found and grown in. And while climatic conditions may be one factor, I believe strongly another factor is simply the nutrition that you're dumping in the soil. If you're just putting NPK or just some, you know, cow manure, you know, you're not going to have the full range of phytochemicals and phytonutrients that the Ashitaba could have, because it's not getting everything it needs from the soil. So what I like to do is I like to put in 70 to 90 different trace minerals in the form of sea solution or ocean minerals, and also in the form of the rock dust. All right, yeah, so this is getting a little bit more yellow there, as you guys could see, and this is the reason why I like it. I'll just take the stems, break it off, and chew it. To me, this tastes kind of like sweet, kind of like celery, but sweeter. I could just eat this stuff all day long. Kind of has like a, I don't want to say minty, but it's like a kind of like a minty celery flavor. It's quite good grown in this climate. Now, I am sampling these now in the wintertime, and many plants in the wintertime tend to produce more sugars, which the sugars protect them from the frost. So they may be sweeter at this time. These guys are probably going to grow maybe another, I don't know, 6 to 8 months before they go to seed. And as you guys can see, this is the immature flower pods. Let me go ahead and do a close-up for you guys to show you guys what the immature flower pods, and as they develop, and then I'll show you guys fully mature flowers that have turned into the seeds. All right, so as you guys can see, here's basically the flowers starting to bloom. I think they're going to open up very soon. And once they bloom, then actually the next step is they're going to turn into these little seed pod things that are green. And it's very important, you know, Ernest and Julio Gallo said, "I will drink no fine wine before it's time." And I like to say, I don't want you guys to harvest any of your seeds before they're fully mature. You know, especially if you're not grown this before, you might think, oh man, these are ready. And oh, it's going to frost soon. And you know, we need to leave these guys on the plant to fully mature and develop and dry on their own before harvesting. Of course, you know, some of these guys are going to have some challenges, like if the plant's stressed out, like right over here in this bunch, basically these seed pods, there's a few maturing on here, but it looks like many of these guys are just not going to mature properly. So next I want to show you guys a plant that actually probably not going to mature and make proper seed pods, and why. So here's an Ashitaba plant that I probably planted about 6 months ago, and it's actually already going to flower, setting seeds. It's pretty much stopped making any edible leaf matter for me to eat. And you know, I'm going to leave it in to see what happens. Now, if the plants are stressed out and maybe they don't get enough water or whatever the reason is, then they're going to want to basically try to reproduce as quickly as they can, even though they might not be fully mature. It's kind of like a 10-year-old having a baby, right? I think that really happens these days, unfortunately. But they're just not ready to have a baby, although their bodies physically can, and I believe that's due to maybe an improper diet, eating too many hormones and processed foods and junk foods. You know, the plants, when they're younger, while they may reproduce and make seeds, you know, it may turn out or it may not. We're going to just let this guy grow and see what happens. It looks like some of them might turn into fully developed seeds, and some may not. And this guy is probably like maybe 2.5 feet tall, and the ones right behind, as you guys can see, are like towering 6 feet, and they're all in different stages of growth. So, you know, it's easy for me to come out and see like, oh, these seeds are ready, these seeds are not, and I'm going to harvest only the seeds that are fully mature and ready, and just keep letting the other ones hang out on the plant and grow and develop at their own pace. Next, I want to show you guys some fully developed and ready seeds to harvest, and more importantly, the reason I know why. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm sitting underneath some of my Ashitaba plants right here, and we got some seeds that are ready to be harvested. How do I know? Well, there's one bunch that actually dropped off the plant, and check it out. We're gonna show you guys these carefully. Check it out. You guys see that? These guys basically dropped on this little ledge here. It's been raining a lot, so it basically got wet. and these guys sprouted and you know, are starting to grow into new plants. So I'm gonna probably take these and transplant them into a bed to allow them to grow up. I'm then gonna basically dig them out and transplant them later to little pots or to where I want them. They do tend to transplant very easy, and I want to let you guys know that the Achataba are very resilient plants. You know, I had some friends watering when I was away and they forgot to water a little bit, and most of my plants lost their lives except for the Achataba that even went bone dry. Of course, I have good soil and water holding capabilities with things like coconut coir in there. But the Achataba lived. This is one strong plant. It can handle, you know, some light freezes. It doesn't like a super heavy freeze. And more importantly, it could handle like 114-degree weather in the desert, you know, without a problem. So this is a very useful and important food crop, but more importantly than food crop, also medicinal crop. Next, I want to go ahead and show you guys maybe a close-up on these seed pods that have actually dried on, and a more close-up actually what one of the Achataba seeds look like. All right, so as you guys could see, we got all these basically Achataba going to the setting the seed here, and a lot of these seed pods are not yet ready, and in addition, some actually are just starting to produce some new flowers. But here's a bunch that's ready, and I want to give you maybe like 3 indicators that they are ready to be harvested. You know, number one, it looks like to me that the stem basically kind of turns brown and dries out when it's ready. That lets you know that the seed is dried. Another thing I like to do is just flick it. Whoa, do you see that? When I flicked it, I lost a lot of seeds, man. That's value, man, right there. But yeah, if you flick it and the seeds come off readily, that means the plant's ready to spread those seeds. I'm gonna take these guys and spread it. I love spreading seeds, especially the ones that I make myself. And these are some of those. So we're just gonna go ahead and take this and clip this off. Oops, we lost a couple more seeds. You guys just heard 2 indicators that the seeds may be ready. Number 1, the stem turns brown. Obviously the seeds are also brown. 2, you flick it, they come off easy. Another indicator that I've kind of noticed just by observation, because I've never harvested these guys before, is that basically they're gonna get droopy. So like instead of like being erect, it's kind of like you after a night with your girlfriend. And they kind of get droopy, and then that's when you know they're droopy and they're basically ready to get taken out. So these guys, instead of standing erect, they're kind of drooping down. And that's another sign that your Achataba seeds are probably ready to harvest. All right, so now I want to share with you guys what these Achataba seeds look like up close. Basically, I was like looking at these. If you guys look at them really closely, right, they're really a trip. I mean, I don't know if you guys could see that on the camera there, but to me, these guys look like little miniature sunflower seeds, kind of like how sunflower seeds look. And there's basically like a little coating on there, and you basically remove this coating, and the seed is actually attached to the inside. And you know, I have heard that these can be hard to germinate. You know, simply they're sitting on the ledge there, got wet, and they germinated for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to germinate some of these guys, so I'll have a, you know, 2nd generation rock dust grown, high nutrient content Achataba for me to eat and enjoy, and more importantly, to spread out these seeds to people. Now I want you guys to be aware, you know, this is not one of those things like lettuce, right? Lettuce has been hybridized a lot by man to have traits that we want, whether that is an iceberg lettuce that'll store for weeks, which in some cases is good because I like to enjoy some iceberg lettuce. It's nice and crunchy. But this is more of a wild food, you know, that's grown and, you know, not hybridized as much as some of the domesticated everyday vegetables you eat. And I want to encourage you guys to eat foods like the Achataba and other wild foods, especially when they taste good, like the Achataba, to better your health. And also, I mean, this is one of the most resilient plants that I'm growing in my garden, and it also happens to be the healthiest. So this is definitely one of the ones you will want to grow if you're considering it. Be sure to check my other videos for other episodes on the Achataba, and be sure to give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Also, be sure to subscribe to me if you're not already, and be sure to check my past episodes. I have over 1,000 episodes now covering all ranges of edible fruits and vegetables and things that you guys could eat, and more importantly, grow at your home so that you can increase the health of you and your family to live a more healthy, happy, and vibrant life. Once again, my name is John Kohler with GrowingYourGreens.com. Until next time, remember, keep on growing.